Good evening. My name is Kathy Stanley Galvin, Mayor of the Town of Stoneville. Thank you for joining us this evening. At this time, please be respectful and silence or cut off your cell phone. As Mayor, I call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, January the 6th. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Following the pledge, Mayor Pro Tem Thornton will lead us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Father, I pray for this council meeting tonight. Give each council member the wisdom and the guidance as we deliberate on the items before us. May every decision be righteous in your sight and for our benefit, for your glory. In your name we pray as one voice. Amen.
Amen. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening?
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilwoman Daisy Smith. A second?
Second.
Second, Council Mayor Pro Tem Thornton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? And the minutes will be from our December 2nd meeting.
So moved.
I have a motion from Councilman Shelton. A second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Jessica Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, please join us in welcoming Senator Bill Berger. Senator Berger represents the 26th Senate District seat in Raleigh. Mr. Berger is also the President Pro Tem of the North Carolina Senate. Mr. Berger this evening is going to provide us updates on what's going on in the legislature.
Well, first of all, Happy New Year to Mayor and council members here in Stoneville. I appreciate the opportunity to, represent Stoneville, but also the opportunity to come by and speak with you. And want to make sure that if there are issues that you or for the town or individual citizens of the town have at the state level, either I or my office stands ready to try to get you answers and hopefully solve problems. As far as kind of where things are in the state, the state of North Carolina has seen somewhat unprecedented growth over the past 5 or 6 years, and #1 state for business for multiple years in a row. And for a long time, when folks would hear about those sorts of things, they would say, well, what about Rockingham County, or what about the Piedmont Triad? And so the good news is that we are starting to see some things happening as far as the Piedmont Triad is concerned and as far as Rockingham County is concerned. And a lot of that is tied to the availability of water and sewer infrastructure in various places. And of course, we have over the past several years worked with y'all and with the town in trying to expand the availability of water and sewer here in Rockingham County, particularly in western Rockingham County. And I know that there are a number of things that are ongoing at the present time. It's one of those things that we've been able to leverage a pretty good amount of federal COVID money and use it for a lot of these one-time expenditures, which infrastructure in many respects is. And so I am hopeful that we will continue to be able to do a lot of that and continue to be able to see opportunities present themselves to Stoneville. One of the key issues that is out there at the present time has to do with needed upgrades on US 220. You know, it's been promised for a long time that US 220 was going to be an interstate highway, and we see that there's very little that's been done as far as that is concerned over the past 4 or 5 years. I can tell you that the reason that we haven't seen much there is because of the way the state funds road projects. And the Department of Transportation had been working on the idea of interstate standards for US 220 with the idea that it would be one project from where the improvements that come out of Guilford County stopped all the way to the Virginia line. The problem with looking at that issue like that has been that you can imagine the expense of making that sort of one-time plan for improvements to that road and trying to do it as one project. And so it just never has been something that has been able to make the STIP so that it gets on the planning process. And so what we've been able to do over the past 6 months is the DOT said that they needed some money to do an engineering study to understand how they could break that project up into various different segments. Smaller segments would probably be easier to find funding for, and they could begin the process of getting that taken care of. Same thing is happening with 29, US 29 in the eastern part of the county. I don't know if you've noticed the bridges that are currently being constructed, rebuilt in Rockingham County, and some of the work that had been done in Guilford County, where I always say where the Sheets is, near where the Sheets is. And so what they did there is they were able to break that project down into smaller projects, and we're starting to see some progress there. So I was able to find $2 million to get to DOT to fund the study that is in the process of being done as we speak. It is my hope that what we will see is a plan come out of DOT to begin the process of, and probably have to start on the southern end because that's where you're seeing more and more congestion. I'm sure you travel on that road a lot. So that's one of many things that we've been able to work on. I know that there was some money in recent budgets for here in Stoneville to deal with some of the water and sewer issues. But that is not the only sorts of things that we can help with. And state government, a lot of folks don't realize how involved state government is in people's day-to-day lives. And so if there are issues like that, I certainly would welcome the inquiries, and we would be able to try to solve any problems that are out there. The main number at my legislative office in Raleigh is 919-733-5708. My chief of staff there is Colt, K-O-L-T, U-L-M. Colt has been on my staff for a number of years. He's been the chief of staff for about 2 years now. I can assure you that he can get an answer to your problems. The answer may be we can't do anything, but he will get you an answer. Beyond that, if you need to talk to me directly, my cell phone number is 336-932-9899. And I don't know if you've heard it buzzing, but it rings right here. So, if you need to speak with me, you're welcome to call that number. You're welcome to give that number out to any constituents that you have. And while I can't always answer when you call, if you leave a message, I will get back to you. Presently, the legislature is sort of in a non-session period. We likely will not have active sessions where we will take up legislation until sometime in April of this year when we come back for the short session. But that could change as we find agreement with the House on various matters and have conversations with the governor. Sometimes we'll step in, do a fairly discreet measure, whether it's an appropriation or something else. But I don't see any major legislation until we get back in April or May. That's an important time, though, because if there's a local bill, and Mr. Russell here understands how that works. If there's a local bill that's needed for Stoneville, we will have some deadlines that will be announced. Those deadlines will likely be sometime in late April or May. But if there is an issue, if you can get that information to my office now, we can begin the process of working on those things. with that, I mean, that's kind of where things are at the legislature at the present time. More than happy to respond to any questions any members of council have.
I have a question.
Sure.
The DMV, I know that we had heard and read that they had hired new employees. I'm gonna leave it right there and let you answer the rest of it.
So, you know, when you've dug a hole that's so deep that you can't see your way out of it,
Right.
it takes a while to fill that hole in. And what has transpired is, of course, the DMV is headed by a commissioner that's appointed by the governor. And the governor has recently appointed a new head of the DMV, and both houses of the General Assembly have been looking into various issues there, and the state auditor, Dave Bolick, has actually done an audit of DMV, and he's got some suggestions as to things that can be improved. We've done a couple of things, such as allowing for extension of driver's licenses without having to actually come into the DMV office and do something online, those sorts of things. And so I think we're chipping away at the problems with when you have an agency that is so far afield in terms of competency. It's just going to take a while. Part of it will be solved, or at least addressed, by added personnel, added training. So that's we funded some of those positions. Part of it will hopefully be solved by leadership at the DMV, which so far the new commissioner seems to be making some progress there. And I hate to counsel patience, because if you've stood in one of those lines at a DMV office, you've shown more patience than you should have to show. But I do think it's something that we're making some progress on. Hopefully we'll get to the point where folks will be able to either make an appointment or go to an office, get their stuff done, and not have to spend a day and then figure out that I got to come back tomorrow, or I got to come back multiple times. So, but we ain't there yet.
Yes, because it seems like everything was good, then all of a sudden, like yesterday, it was somebody, actually, it was my husband, 6.5 hours.
Yeah, so part of that had to do with the Real ID switchover.
Yes, sir.
That so many folks, well, if you want to get on an airplane, you either had to have a passport or a Real ID. And there are several other things where the Real ID was necessary. And so the amount of work that's involved in verifying the information that gets presented to the officers at DMV is just more than traditionally had been the case for folks doing renewal or doing some other things as far as their license. And so over time, it just created this backlog that's just going to take us a while to get resolved.
That's a fair enough answer, because I didn't think about that. Because, you know, if you have a passport, you go in and get it, but if you don't, you have to provide other information that has to be verified. Makes
Yes,
sense.
but don't let them off so easy, because the reality is you can get a passport a whole lot easier than you can get a Real ID, or
Totally
at least you could. So, I mean, it's a problem, and it's something that was allowed to fester for a while, and we're just going to have to get it straightened out.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I just hope they have it done before the September 10th. That's when I gotta get mine.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for your
Well,
time.
and thank you, and I commend everyone here who has taken time out of your private lives to come here and do the public's business. So certainly appreciate
Thank
folks
you.
being
Thank
willing
you
to
for
do
being
that.
Thank you for coming here tonight also. We
Good to see
appreciate
y'all.
your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
We do have one person signed up for public comments.
Okay, with the public comment period being open, council is required to do that by state law. Comments must be respectful, relevant to council business, and limited to 3 minutes to each speaker. Personal attacks, disruptive behavior, profanity, or remarks directed to any individual are prohibited. Speakers should address the council as a whole, and the presiding officer will enforce these rules to maintain order and decorum As presiding officer, the mayor may ask the speaker to cease comment or to leave the meeting. Shorter than that,
So we have Miss Melanie Holly. If you don't mind, step up. You have 3 minutes. If you can give us your address, and your topic of concern is the sunshine and rainbows.
Yes. Hi, my name is Melody Holly. My address is 112 White Pine Drive, right here in Stoneville. Some of you may not know, first of all, I do want to say thank you for giving me a moment to share. And those that do not know, my name is Melody Holly, and I'm here to reintroduce Sunshine and Rainbows. It is a local community initiative created right here in Stoneville, and we wanted to help support our community by connecting people to resources, coordinating community donations, and creating welcoming spaces for connection, all while meeting people where they are without pressure or judgment. Now, we're not here to replace any existing services or programs. Instead, we just want to be a connecting piece to fill the gap in from people not knowing or not having the access or even the questions to ask where to get the help. We kind of just want to be that bridge to kind of connect the piece to give them that welcoming space. Now, we did have a Coats and Kindness drive that we ran, and I do appreciate everybody's assistance with that. While we are still working on distributing the donations, I did want to kind of give a follow-up. Now, we did have 2 weeks of donating that we were able to do from December 1st till December 15th. That allowed, we were able to collect about 40 coats, combination of hoodies, sweaters, sweatshirts, and around 25 to 30 scarves, blankets, gloves, things like that, and around 25 baskets for food. This was just, canned goods, noodles, bread, things of that nature. So we do have that lined up and ready to distribute. However, the holidays kind of pushed us back a little bit. So we are still trying to reach out to those that did say they were in need. I know that we did speak to Stoneville Elementary. We did speak to social services. So there are families in need, and we definitely do see that need. So we are trying to address it and come up with more ways to help the community and kind of bridge the gap and be more of a community initiative for Rockingham County. And of course, as always, we do want to start right here in Stoneville. So of course, we are looking for any support. Our next big thing is going to be the Bridge to Better Expo. I do plan to have more details on that coming soon. May 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the time and date that we have so far. Again, this is a new initiative that I am just starting, so more details to come as far as the location. But I do want to get us kind of in the loop this time and a little more preparedness so that we can go ahead and get this initiative going. But the purpose of this initiative is to kind of bring all of our resources, outreach programs, nonprofits, social services, Rockingham Community Schools, and the Rockingham Community College for education, financial support, health and wellness, kind of get those resources in one place so that people who need them can come out, get into a welcoming space, and have that access to those options that are available. So that's our new thing that we are looking to, get into motion. And I do plan on coming and continuing to these meetings to kind of give you updates as we get partners and things involved. So my request to you all as a community, as Stoneville, that this is where we branched and started. If you are an organization, know of an organization, business, or group doing good work in the community, has access to these resources, knows how to get these connections and things in motion, I definitely would love to connect to you and kind of get this Bridge to Better Expo going. Again, this is something that's dear to my heart, and I do want to get it going and get it organized and get it officially a nonprofit. I am in the process of getting that going so that it can be an official nonprofit. But again, if you do know anybody that this sounds like it can be a good fit, we can partner and kind of collaborate and get this to be something good for our community and kind of get us on the right foot going forward. So thank you so much for your time. And again, I look forward to updating you all and continuing to do good work for the community. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I ask
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Don't rush away. Because I did speak to you after the last meeting. So I did want to ask you a question because I did do a little bit of research because you said at that time you had a Facebook page, etc. And I noticed that I didn't see a nonprofit. So you just said you are trying to become a
Yes, right now it's
nonprofit.
a community initiative, so I don't have any nonprofit status right now.
Okay.
It is in the process.
But you're working on that. Okay. And then you're looking for locations or you're out of your home. What's your thoughts around that? Do you have a
As
plan?
far as accepting donations and
Uh-huh.
things, yes, right now I am out of my home.
Okay.
I'm looking for permanent or even rotating locations where I can leave my boxes again. But
Okay.
right now I don't have an actual donation drive that I'm doing. I'm right now just ready to get, distributing of those Coats and Hines drive items that we got, and then move forward with the Bridge to Better Expo.
Okay.
However, people are still bringing me donations and still letting me know that there is still a need. So I am still getting donations, and right now, yes, it is at my home.
Yeah, I'm
So-
sure. Okay, and then how are people currently applying? Like, how are you finding, other than, like, I know you said you reached out to the school, but
Well,
how
I'm
are
working
people
on
coming?
a website.
A website, okay.
And that's where you can have the nomination forms and everything. There are
Mhm.
Google document forms that I am working on too, to where I can have QR codes, things that they can snap in, and they'll just be able to register, put in their needs. Nothing really, I'm not doing case management or anything, so you don't really have to give a lot of information. But kind of if you have sizes, if you need resources for employment, anything like that, it kind of gives you the breakdown to where you can choose. So I am working on these forms. Again, I'm so sorry with the holidays.
We
Got me a little
understand.
backdated, but again, this is something that's near and dear to my heart, so I don't want you to think that I'm dropping the ball or putting it on hold. I am really trying to get this committed, so.
Okay, that's great.
That was
Thank
my
you.
question too, was I was wanting to know about where you're storing
And
them.
if I can reach you guys beforehand, my website is almost ready. I wish I would have had it done tonight so I could present it to you guys today, but unfortunately I still have a few tweaks that I have to work out before I'm feeling confident enough to produce it. Kind of in my own head a lot, so, second guessing and whatnot. But, if I could reach out to anyone once that website is available, and again, I will be updating that information on my page.
Yeah, and certainly let us know. I mean, our numbers are public on the town's website,
Yeah.
so text and say, hey, here's my website, will you go take a look?
Okay,
Yep.
certainly.
Look,
happy to
that's
look.
my cell phone number. If you'll reach out to me, I might have a venue you can have that meeting at.
Yes, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for all the good you do in choosing Stoneville. That finishes up with the public comments. We have no old business, so we'll go to new business. The first is, consider the ordinance for 0-2026-01 to remove and demolish structure at 104 West Matthews Street. And all of these will be presented, the next four, from Mr. Eric Clem with the State Code Enforcement Officer.
Evening, Council.
Good evening.
Me?
What you have in front of you is the next step in minimum housing enforcement. The subject property was served with complaint back in July to all the owners and parties of interest. Some of the owners were at the hearing where they were told of the violation. They understood the violation. After that hearing, an order was sent to them, served as well, stating that they had 90 days to demolish or repair the structure. During that time, the only contact I had with them was them stating that they was going to try to get the community college to burn it for their fire class, I guess. That hasn't happened. That was supposed to happen back in the fall. The house is still there. This is the next step to enforcing y'all's ordinance. And I'm here to answer any questions you have about what's next.
Was it going to be the college or the town of Stoneville Fire Department?
She told me Rockingham Community College.
Okay, I got you.
But you're saying that did not happen, right?
It did not happen.
And the owners are aware of the next step?
The owners were notified, probably should add that part in, the owners were notified of tonight's meeting
Okay.
and times and all that, so they come here and plead their case since it hasn't been completed.
Okay.
I don't think you're
And
here.
Council, I was part of the hearing. The owners are well aware, and they actually expressed they knew it needed to be done.
Okay.
It was just a matter of cost and which procedures needed to take place. They had approached, as the Mayor mentioned, they had approached our fire department. Chief Freeman had reached out to the fire marshal to see what guidelines he had to follow. Because of the condition of the home and the age, there's a strong likelihood that there's asbestos involved in that, which would require an additional step for that site to be cleaned up. So all those processes, but as he said, they have been notified of the full process and have been kept in the loop.
And there's no, I mean, obviously I saw the cost that was in here to do this, so there's no option, I'm assuming, from the fire department, there was no interest in doing whatever would have to be handled ahead that might be less expensive and then using it for some kind of training. That was not.
Even to do that, there would be required the asbestos testing and
Correct.
removal before they could burn it, if that was the option. I have not followed up with Chief Freeman in terms of what the fire marshal instructed him he could or could not do. I mean, if he wants to speak on that behalf.
Yeah, I spoke with the fire marshal office. I submitted all the paperwork, and they came out, they looked at the home, and it is an unsafe home to do any live training or burning in the home. So the fire marshal office instructed me that home cannot be burned.
Perfect, that answered that question.
And then I have one other question, and I don't want to skip down to 4, but these 4 as a whole, if we do all of them, we will exceed the budget, right?
We're just talking about one for tonight.
Yeah, well, and the others listed, we're not gonna,
We're not actively pursuing them right now.
Okay.
Not at this time.
okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance, outline the plans to demolish and remove the structure at 104 West Matthews.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilman Shelton. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilwoman Daisy Smith. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next is the update on the nuisance violation at 300 Lee Street.
With that violation, I did have one phone call from the owner. He left me a voicemail on my office number. I tried to call him back, left him a message saying that, yeah, I can give you more time. Just call me back and let me know how much time you need. He never called me back. After that, I gave him a week or so to actually call me. After that, I got in contact with 2 contractors. One of the contractors said the job was too big for him. The other contractor, Spencer's Environmental, came out, and I made him out there, and we found a mess out there, more than I could see from the road. He gave a bid of $850 to clean up everything. If you got any questions about that, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
And I'm assuming that the longer it goes, the higher the price will be because there will be more.
I don't
Probably.
think there'll be more. I mean, Spencer's, I've worked with him in other towns as well. Once he gives you a price, he'll stick to that price.
Councilwoman, I believe what your question is, do we anticipate that there will be more debris and things that are brought in? And at this point, we're not even sure that the gentleman is living in the home, but that is a possibility, but that is something we couldn't evaluate one way or the other.
Okay.
So if there is additional, it would increase the price if he realizes additional debris, clutter, et cetera, has been brought out. Is that a possibility?
The only way to satisfy that would be obtain another bid from him.
Correct.
But as far as what I could see, I think my last inspection was, I can't remember, I think it's back in December, but nothing has changed since he gave me the price. And like Michael said, I think the guys moved out. We don't know for 100%. So right now, the price to have the violation taken care of, $850. That's where we sit right now.
Do we have a motion?
Yeah, I make the motion that we proceed forward with the cleanup of property on Lee Street, 300 Lee Street.
So I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Thornton. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second, Councilwoman Daisy Smith. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the active housing in non-residential cases.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Okay?
If y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I was just curious, there's the one in here with the tree that everybody talked
Commercial
about, the
building.
infamous tree.
The infamous tree, yes.
Yeah, and you
I've heard
mentioned that the tree was removed, but I was just curious, as part of this process, does someone look at the structural, like, if the building is still structurally sound, or how does it impact the neighboring properties, or if someone comes back and questions us about, oh, well, my neighbor has this problem, and I think it's causing my floor, or my whatever,
If that happens, that's a civil issue between the two parties. As far as what I do, I'm exterior. What's on the inside is
So
between
just
them
we
and,
can see it.
yeah, what's on the inside is between them and building inspections. I know building inspections has had their eye on it. I don't know if they've been inside it or not, just because it's locked up. You know, I think they go breaking locks. But I mean, yeah, that's definitely something I can look into with building inspections to, you know, obtain an administrative warrant and go in and see what's all going on with it. But when it's got a tree growing out from top of it, you know.
Yeah,
You gotta wonder.
yeah, absolutely. Next is the minimum house and priority cases.
What that is, it's a list of all your houses, just the houses, not the non-residential stuff, in the town limits. And what I've done is based on my own visibility, level of hazard and complaints, and made a list from the worst to maybe the not so worst. And any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
So, this has something to do with our budget, like Daisy was talking about. And are you recommending going about this on a case by case or what?
Yeah, I'd be happy recommending that. It's however you want to do it. I work for y'all. If you want me to just do them one at a time, that's fine. If you want me to do them 5 at a time, I can do that too. Just however y'all want to do it. What you're comfortable doing.
But Councilman Minute, you are correct, you know, based on the current budgeted amount for that particular expense, we are most likely, you know, going to have to look at them on a case-by-case basis based on, for example, the one case that we've already identified there, number 1, you know, until we have an actual bid on how much the whole project is going to cost us, we wouldn't know whether we could proceed with an additional, you know, active case or not to address that. So it is a budgetary issue unless the council wants to give me full authority to just do an additional, you know, allocation to that particular line item. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to do that. So I think it will be a case-by-case basis based on, you know, time, expense involved in each project.
So you would have them in priority and you would come to us for recommendation on number 1 and then move down the line that way?
Yeah, it's typical to start with at the top of the list and work your way down.
And he basically would work with the town hall. We would bring those cases as they come up based on the recommendation where we would see going forward.
So in those larger cases, not as much as like the $800 one, but the ones that are larger, do you normally get 3 quotes or do we just do the 1 quote? Or do you have a hard time just getting people to do it, period?
I have a hard time getting these 2 quotes, yeah.
Yeah, I
When you
understand.
start getting into demolition and stuff like that, I can usually get 4 to 5 votes or 4 to 5 bids out of my 10 contractors.
I got you.
It's just, I mean, it's 2 different things, a little bit of junk removal or tearing down a house. More people are interested in coming tearing down a house than they are picking up trash and things of that nature.
So when you present them to a council, you're given the quote that you know that it's the one that's the best for the job that would, because normally we do 3 quotes on
Right,
anything.
right.
But if we used your judgment, then we know that you're using or presenting the one that's the best for the job that you
Right.
know.
Yeah, I mean, based on, you know, just experience in the job itself.
Yes, sir.
He's probably about right with the amount of stuff. I mean, when he initially gave me the $850 quote, I was, you know, kind of surprised by it because I'm only looking at it from the road. He got up in the driveway and saw what I saw and all the stuff around back. And I wish I had a picture of it to show y'all, but
Right.
it's a lot.
Yeah, and $800 is one thing, it's the other ones we were looking at, there were the thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
That one, 800, no, that's very reasonable, believe me. Yeah.
Well, Eric, on the one that you're talking about for $850 estimate, the bus would probably bring that, and that could pay for the cleanup.
The who?
The bus that's sitting back there, if that's the one I'm thinking about.
Well, a bus will be,
I know it's personal property.
it's a vehicle.
Right.
That's a different part of the ordinance.
Well, I was just throwing that out there, because
Right.
if you're cleaning it up, then it's sending a notice to him, hey, you need to take care of this, because you're gonna be having a bill in the future tacked onto your property tax value. So he may have to sell that bus,
It's possible.
just to pay for that.
Right.
Any further discussion?
I do want to mention item 3 and 4. I'm not sure which report it is on. There is one address that is incorrect. It's based on an old, the 225 Jerry Street is, because that house actually has a number posted on it, which is 225, but the official address for that location is now 112 Jerry Street, based on what we've been able to find with the GIS system. So I just wanted to make you aware, we're talking, if you hear either one of those addresses discussed, we're talking about the same location, same dilapidated vines covering the house, et cetera, but wanted to make you aware of that on the report.
And the address is what now?
It's 112 Jerry instead of 225.
Okay.
There's one more property that I'd like to talk to y'all about if I got time.
Yeah.
It's a 300 South Glen. It was one of the two that we did the first round of hearings for. It's a very large house. It's a very valuable house. I believe the property value on it's around $200,000. The reason why you ain't got a demolition order for that one is because my rule is, and this comes from the state as well, 50% of the total value to repair. That's when you're starting to look at demolition. It's getting too much too much money to repair it versus the cost to just demolish it. This one don't meet that 50%. What I would recommend though, and just trying to get approval from y'all, is a civil penalty in the amount of $100 a day until the violation's corrected.
Mayor, can I ask this question? Is this the property that's in probate?
I'm not 100% sure on that. It is in probate?
It's in probate.
Okay. Then yes. It has who? Oh, which one is his? 105? Wicker, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, Wicker he came to the non-residential hearing, didn't even mention anything about the house. He didn't come to the house hearing though. That's where I would be at with that, and that's what I would recommend to y'all. You're still within the ordinance of what you can do. I would just recommend that just because the value's so high on it. And the cost to demolish it probably would be astronomical, being that size.
Mr. Russell, how long does that usually take to run through probate?
I have to see what the status is. I think that's the address you've given me. But that's something I can find out of the council, what the status of the probate is, whether it's finished or how close they're going to do it. Probate can take as fast as 6 or 7 months. Usually it's about a year and a half.
And I guess your rule goes for commercial also. If the commercial building, if it's more than 50% of the value or less, like what you were just saying here.
Oh, yes, yeah, that'd be
So
great.
that's commercial also? Since they own the commercial business building?
Well, that ain't factored in to.
Right, on this part, exactly.
Right.
That's just the house, I understand. Any other questions? Okay. Hey, thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Council.
Thank you for
Thank
what
you.
you're doing. Next is consider quotes for the front wrench and mount on the fire truck, and this will be presented by Fire Chief Joel Freeman. And the chief recommendation is you're gonna have to say what this is. What is this? Anchor Ritchie Emergency Vehicle Services, right? Thank you. And what would that be?
And I'll say, and the chief did present 3 quotes.
Right.
I just want to point out that, there are 3 quotes. One is cheaper than the one we're recommending, but his recommendation is solely for the fact that this particular vendor has worked on this particular vehicle before, has a knowledge of the history and the service that has been done. So as a result of the fact that they have worked with this individual and that individual knows the vehicle, that is one of the reasons for the recommendation.
Okay. Sir?
Can we talk about that?
Sir, yes, sir.
If I'm looking at the right things, it's a sizable difference in these quotes. Is the one that you're recommending is $47.50?
Correct.
Okay. I'm good.
Would you like to make a motion?
Sure. Make a motion that we go ahead and approve this on, with the emergency vehicle, an Anchor Ritchie, piece of equipment for the fire truck. That all I need?
Yes, so we have a motion on the floor from Councilman Bennett. Do we have a second?
Second.
A second, Councilman Thornton. Any further discussion?
I just want to note that we're going with EBS, right? Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Next is to consider the appointment of Mr. Joe Rose as an alternate member to the Planning Board and Board of Adjustment.
Can I just raise one thing that I talked to Mr. Sands about? So I thought, I wasn't aware the position was open, so as a citizen, I was like, oh, how did we know that? How do we know that? So I had reached out to Mr. Sands and asked, I said, when these positions are open, is there a set process or procedure in place for how someone is made aware, how they contact, how they apply? Because clearly we know Mr. Rose. So, but I just was asking from a citizen's perspective, and he said that currently today, and he shared some information back, we went back and forth a little bit, that for committees and boards, I guess, there's not any type of formal, so to speak, procedure in place for how we share it, how long it's out there, et cetera. So not that it necessarily impacts the decision on Mr. Rose, but just raising that flag because I did ask, and he said that was something that the council would need to decide if we want to put in place, that he would, and Ms. Greer would be happy to work on that if we wanted them to create such a thing. But I just thought from a citizen's perspective, how would everyone in the community say, oh, I knew about that vacancy, if it's not put out there anywhere?
And to share with the council what I shared with regarding this situation.
Sorry.
We do have, the vacancies on the planning board, et cetera, is posted on the planning board's page on our website. And it is current as of today, showing all the vacancies, whether they're alternate positions or actual positions that would be a permanent, or based on that appointment. So it is posted. I would say it's not prominently posted. We do not include it as part of our vacancies, job vacancies, because we kept those separate. We are looking at some revisions to the website, possibly a different vendor, et cetera. So Delia and I've talked about options on how to make that more clear and more prevalent for people to know that. I will say that Ms. Evans, regularly at meetings when they're holding that meeting, she does make people aware that there are openings, but as I said, there's not a formalized process by which that would be a prominent, there's a vacancy on that board. So we're looking at options how we can evaluate that. I'll use an example today. I was on a podcast with Mike Moore, so that was one of my items that I did note that, anyone interested, there's always an open application period, that if there happens to be a vacancy, that would allow someone to put in, and then when there is a vacancy, that would give the office a folder of applications for consideration. So, but at this point in time, I jokingly say this, but it's true, we do not have people beating down the doors to serve on these committees. So as we get applications and there is vacancies, we bring them to you at that point.
Any other questions, concerns? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve Joe Rose as the alternate member to the Planning Board and Board of Adjustment.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Jessica Smith. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Second.
Oh, sorry. So I have a second. I'm going to get you to, you said second is with Councilwoman Daisy Smith. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the Town Administrator Report.
So I have several items, and I just want to... I'll make it as quick as possible. You should have in your packet, if not, was emailed to you, the budget to actual. I will tell you, we're still learning that software, and where some categories are a little different than what we're used to, so we're still trying to juggle that around. I know there's a couple of items on the budget that appears to be over budget, and so we're going to look at go back and revisit the categorization to make sure that we put them in the right location. But if you have questions on anything you see on this budget, Ms. Greer had the pleasure of being called for jury duty and had to go for the orientation this afternoon. It's the reason she's not here tonight. So she is on call for jury duty for the next 2 months in Danville. So she is not sure. Hopefully she'll give us some details on when she's going to be in the office and not. But if you have questions on this, please feel free to reach out to either she or I, and we will try to get you an answer to that. A couple other items. We received a call today from, and I just want to make you aware of this, a request from a council member out of Mayodan on the consideration of that the councils across all of the councils in Rockingham County, the possibility of a member of this council attending other council members' meetings so that you could kind of play off each other, almost a collaborative effort. We did not commit to anything, but we said we would make this council aware that that is something that Mayodan is considering. I reached out to Ms. Schuler there in Mayodan to make sure that she was aware, and she said yes, that was something that this particular councilwoman had suggested, and so she was aware, but she did not know that she was reaching out to us at this point in time. I just want to make you aware that that was requested, that this be shared with you. A couple of things, as Mr. Clem mentioned, some of the items that are going to be on our code enforcement deal with junk vehicles, etc. So one of the things he suggested that I have then forwarded to Mr. Russell was the possibility of seeking out a contract with a local towing company so that as events like that do occur, that we've got someone that we've already contracted with that would work with the town. So we will be bringing that contract option back to you probably at the next meeting for consideration. If so, we would at that point seek out if there are local vendors that want to participate in that. Update you on the town audit. We did get notice from our auditor that he completed it by the deadline and submitted it, so that was completed. I will tell you for the most part, it looks very good, but I don't want to present any of the findings because he had to submit it to the LGC. The LGC has to do their final review before it becomes official. Once it becomes official, he will present back to the council the findings and any recommendations he has. We hope that to be at the February meeting, so that is where we stand with that. Just make you aware, I know one councilman reached out to me today, but we are aware of the concern at the stoplight, plain and simple, at Main and Stone. As part of the paving project, something occurred with the timing of that particular stoplight so that citizens are aware. So we are working with not only the paving company, but as well as DOT to see if that timing can be reestablished with that particular stoplight. A couple of items. No senior bingo will occur in January and February. We will resume in March. So we've made that known. And then there's also been a request for a consideration of a crosswalk there in downtown. And so if the council wishes me to pursue that, then we will have to submit a request to DOT for that evaluation to determine if they deem it necessary or not. So those are the items we have for tonight.
Where's the crosswalk?
It has been there isn't one.
Yeah.
There's been requested consideration for one there near Debbie's restaurant.
For the parking lot?
From the parking lot there behind the police department, said several people were, crossing and with traffic. There was concern that the speed of the traffic coming through there might be a concern if there was older individuals or even individuals with children or whatever trying to cross. So they felt like that maybe the possibility of a crosswalk, maybe at least creating some awareness that that's a crossway. I don't know if that would be something that DOT would consider or not, but again, I did want to make you aware of that request as well.
Well, as far as the meetings and the other town meetings, they do the same thing we do. So I can say that I'm sure there's more than just myself that watches them every month. So even if we're not there present, we are listening and we are very much aware of what's going on. The stoplight, I agree with you, but in a way, the more I see it, it slows people down. If you're going to that, I mean, one day I counted 12 cars backed up there. So I
What's
probably, it's the stoplight at the post office right there. It stays red for a very long time, and it turns red very often. But, and I probably see it as much as anyone because I live closer to it, but it's a positive there. People are slowing down, and that may help instead of hitting your gas trying to get through the next light, the green. So there's a positive to things too. when
Well, I'd
things
like to
happen.
add to that.
Right.
It is awful the way you have to sit on Main Street if a train is going by. If you want to turn right or left, you're not going anywhere because the light is not going to let you. And I have seen, I think there are stoplights that won't let you go straight, but you can turn right or you can turn left. But to have people, I mean, cars be lined up way back on Main Street if it's a long train. And I think we can do better than that if we can investigate.
And all I can say is that likelihood would require a DOT study and reprogramming of that entire intersection. I don't want to speak, I'm not real familiar. Yeah.
What'd you say?
When you incorporate the railroad into that, the whole set of rules change. They take precedent over a lot of things when dealing with a railroad. So we would have to get them involved as well as DOT, so.
We've seen, well, if you sit there long enough, you're going to see cars cutting across the parking lot.
At the bank, yes. The parking lot up here behind the post office, I can say was wise decision. I've heard nothing but positive from that. It makes this town look so lovely. It looks so good. And to pull up and to see people using that is wonderful.
I do want to, and that brings up another point. This is I will say it's in a passing conversation. I informed the council several months ago at this point that we had been approached by Wells Fargo, who is the property management company that is managing the post office, and we had been, I won't say led to believe, told that they were looking at a rehabilitation of that building, doing some improvements. That is still on go, however, it apparently has been delayed until the spring. So just make you aware that is still a planned project to bring that up to some standard, fixing the planter out front and bringing that building back up to its former glory to make it look better. So.
You have any updates on the credit union?
Credit union, although we did have a minor delay in the back portion of the building due to a water leak in the former break room, which resulted in him having to remove the entire cabinets that were there that they planned to save. But other than just some minor touch-up paints, spots has been scuffed with furniture coming in and out. Mr. Dawes says he should be, if he's not finished today, he should be finished this week, except for the break room. Speaking with Ms. Smith, they are working on getting the furniture moved in. IT has kind of been a hold-up issue there as well. The bank IT people is having to work with the electrician that is with our contractors. So the two of them have had a little more difficult time getting their calendars to match, but some of the final things do require collaborative effort between those two. Like the back door still hasn't been formally secured because of it requiring the IT as part of that. So with all that said, that they do still anticipate probably the fourth week of January being able to do an opening.
Okay.
So.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to circle back to that. I didn't know what stoplight you were talking about, but I agree with Kathy that I've thought for a long time that's one of the most dangerous intersections around, and particularly in Stoneville. And there's a lot of elderly people up there checking their mail every day, and you've got traffic coming out from this building here to the stop sign, and there's another stop, they're turning left, getting out, and if you're not careful, you can't see these cars coming out left. But the main thing is, I've seen a lot of people come through there goosing their cars, trying to beat traffic or their deadlines or whatever. But I had been approached about it, and I said, my answer to them was, I guess we're trying to slow that traffic down because people are speeding through there a lot. And I'm up there on that corner a lot like Kathy, and I think it's something that needs to be done 20 years ago.
And I do know, Mr. Bennett, you mentioned that fact. I know that I was told that was the reason that the speed bumps were put in next to the pharmacy, was because people were even cutting through that side street to avoid the next stoplight down. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to leaving them as is, but I know we've received several complaints that individuals are having to sit there longer than they are used to, I guess would be the words that I would use. And hopefully, Mr. Delac can help us to evaluate the timing of those, but at the same time consider the safety of those additional roads coming out.
See, before it only come on, it would only.
When you were coming off of Stone.
Exactly. And that was the only time. So it went from hardly at all
Right.
to now.
I mean, there's semi-trucks, log trucks, all kinds of.
It's everything,
big
brother.
vehicles coming through
Yeah.
there at high rates of speed.
Right.
It's very dangerous to an 87-year-old lady getting out of the car trying to get in the way that parking lot shifted over there. It's hard to get the door open and get out
Yes, sir.
without getting hit. So, I mean, that parking lot that we've done has helped a lot.
Sure has.
But, of course, the library, we got 2 spots over there now where you can park at the library or the Beer Holland building. So, you know, parking the premium.
I also like the parking lot, if there's something that maybe we can look at, leaving that parking lot, the parking spot to the left, you've got to be very careful, because if there's a car there, you've got to pay attention, or you got to get out quick. So maybe that's something that we can think about, or get somebody to do a study on. And maybe since we've gained, 30 places, we may have to lose that parking space and make it a no parking, just so when the people are exiting that parking lot, they can see. Because I'm not going to say I'm quick, but I'm probably, I'm getting out of the parking lot. You got to be careful, because I almost got hit one day there, not thinking, because that parking lot wasn't designed, that parking spot in the front was not designed to have that parking lot behind it.
Since we're talking about this, if it's okay to further the discussion, I've had it on my mind, but coming through that alley to the drugstore, one of the highest traffic areas in town. And so if you got a big dually sitting over in front of Brian's building, and another one sitting to the right in front of Carpini's building, you can't possibly see what's coming left or right. And you just got to creep out in the road. Now, on golf courses, we use mirrors, and you could possibly put one across the street over there where Kathy's building adjoins the other one, and maybe you could see what's coming and going. But I don't know that parking spot in front of Brian's needs to even be there, unless it's for golf carts or small vehicles or something like that. And I noticed the other day I was in there, there's a sign up on the pole that says, I think, two-hour parking in the alley. And I didn't know you could park in the alley. So I think that's you might know it, Camp, you know what that rule comes
Yeah, I
from?
think that was for the gravel parking lot behind the doctor's office at one time. They used that to call the alleyway. But to answer your question about the parking lot or parking space in front of Brian's store, that's been visited numerous times, and it's, you won't get it closed down. It's always been, people have tried to close it before. It's Brian's parking lot, for his business.
I just hate for somebody to have an accident in there and get all upset.
Well, there's been accidents that have happened there. I won't deny that.
Okay, so our next meeting will be on Tuesday, on February the 3rd. And if we don't have anything else going on, this finishes up our meeting for this evening. Thank you for joining us, and do we have a motion to adjourn? Have a motion from Thornton, a second?
Second.